Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the CiL Prospect Cup Series here from Dover International Speedway for the Monster 120. My name is Matthew Nordberg. Joining me up in the booth tonight is going to be Zach Lindler. We're in for a fantastic race here tonight. Looking at the current weather on the track right now around this 1 mile concrete track, 79 degrees Fahrenheit with 21% humidity. Current track temp sitting at 116 Fahrenheit, so quite a warm track for this race this evening, Zach. What are we looking forward to tonight? And I think it's going to be a great race.
Yeah, you're right. This is going to be a really exciting, really great race as we're now on round 6 of 7 in the College Cup Series season. So, crunch time for a lot of drivers here at the top. They're going to face a unique threat in the monster mile today that is Dover Speedway. You said it, it's a concrete 1 mile, very high banked oval on the straightaways and in the corners. But this concrete surface and these high banked corners are going to present a very unique challenge to these drivers today. Um, they call it the Monster Mile because it's exactly that. It's a monster. There's a lot of incidents here usually in the real life NASCAR Cup Series. They call it the self-cleaning racetrack because it is so steeply banked. So a lot of drivers will be fighting not only each other on track, but racing the track itself. And I think the winner today and the drivers who are going to be successful are the ones who are able to successfully navigate the track and the field. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really exciting, and I'm looking forward to what we're going to see out here tonight.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's going to be a fantastic race. And I think you mentioned it. Racing the track is going to be so important because it can be quite difficult to pass around here. Oftentimes, you do have to either race your own race and conserve your tires the best you can, or hopefully make somebody else makes a mistake, which is very possible. Very difficult to get off the corners here in turns 2 and 4. You can get very loose if you're not careful on the loud pedal. But our drivers here are finishing up their little practice session, about an hour and a half practice for these drivers tonight for a 10-minute qualifying session, single car qualifying, so no drafts you can steal from other drivers, but we should be in for a very good race, and I think it's going to be a true testament to our drivers' skill here in the CiL this evening as qualifying is about to begin.
Yeah, absolutely. This is going to be you mentioned it that it's going to be very hard to pass here. I was speaking with some of the drivers earlier this week who are practicing kind of on their own. They were asking, well, how in the world am I supposed to pass here? This track, it's got two grooves. The bottom line, obviously, the shorter way around, but there is a middle groove that you can kind of see there on the track, the rubber built into the middle of the corner. That's a lot faster on the way around. So very equal between the two grooves here, so that makes it hard to pass. So you're right. You're either going to have to wait for the driver ahead of you, the guy in front of you, to make a mistake, and then you can hopefully stick your nose up to the inside and get around him, or get a really nice run on the outside and rocket past on the straightaway. Or you're just going to have to be very aggressive, but cautiously optimistic going into the corners and hoping that your move sticks.
Yeah, absolutely. As we're looking on board now, Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College, our current championship leader as he makes his way down turns towards 3, taking the high line, probably just using this lap to set up a very fast second lap here as he begins his second lap now. We're going to ride on board with him as he gets a little loose coming out of turn 4, down into turn 1. You can lift off the gas, but you don't need a whole lot of brake as you really want to hug that inside line for qualifying. That's where you're going to find the most speed. You want to get on that throttle nice and slow. Don't get the car too loose, but very nicely done by DeWale out of turn 2 into turn 4, or turn 3, excuse me, under the ally sign. Same thing in turns 1 and 2. Hug that inside line, and the exit for turn 4 is much more difficult than turn 2. As he gets a little bit loose, he corrects it.
Oh,
That lap's going to count, but I don't think it's going to be the quickest way around this track. But puts him in third position currently, Zachary DeWale, but a very shaky lap coming out of turn 4 there.
yeah, and I've seen a lot of that in testing and practice as well this week. In my own practice, I get out and run the track a little bit to kind of figure out what's going on. But especially on cold tires, this track is brutal coming off the corners like that because the banking doesn't drop off like it usually does on the other tracks. It's kind of weird to describe it, but with how this track is built, you still have the full banking of the corner going onto the straightaway, and then it drops down as you're on the straightaway, as opposed to other tracks where the banking progressively gets lower and lower and lower uh, as you're coming out of the corner. So it's a different kind of driving. The car gets very light, very loose off the corners, and like you said earlier, you're going to have to modulate that throttle. You're going to have to be very, very careful with it when you're coming off the corner to not upset the car and you're going to do exactly what we saw Zach DeWale do right there, is just get loose and go straight into that inside wall.
Yeah, I think this track, if those of you are familiar with indoor cycling, you have those giant, super small tracks with a massive banking on them for some Olympic events in cycling indoors. And I think it's really akin to that, where there's pretty much banking throughout the entire track. You're never sitting completely flat unless you're on the pit road exit or entry, like we see Rhett Crane from Ball State University here practicing some pit entry. But it's so difficult to really navigate the car around those. It's a very unique track, just because, like you said, the banking does not really slope away from you until you get onto the straightaway. So it's a unique challenge for these drivers, and that's one of the reasons why Dover is just so unique, not only for the banking, but as well as this concrete surface. It can be very slippery for these drivers on cold tires, like Zach said. But Edwin Onofre here from University of North Texas, hoping to put in a good lap time here. He's the only driver to who has not set a qualifying time yet, as he makes his way down in turns 3 and 4 now.
Yep, very smooth right there through the corner. You can see him hugging that bottom line, going to get all the way to the outside wall here down this back, or excuse me, down this front straightaway. But Edwin doing a really good job right now. He is the only driver who has not set a time, so wherever he goes, that'll be his grid position. The drivers in the CiL get 3 qualifying laps, if you're not familiar with that, as opposed to the usual 2 that you would see in an iRacing official session or in the Cup Series in real life. As Edwin puts up a 23.293 to go P4 overall right there on his second lap. We've decided to give the drivers an additional lap here so they can really get their tires up to temp, and if they make a mistake on lap 1, they can come down pit road, kind of readjust, recorrect, and go back out there and get another good lap in. Doesn't look like Edwin's going to improve on his time that time by, but uh, you did mention earlier our championship standings, and as we're getting into the last 2 races of the season, this is round 6 of 7, as I said. So we're going to take a look at our championship standings up until this point. I'm going to pull up the list here real quick. In the lead, we have Zach DeWale out of St. Clair College, who has a comfortable 31-point lead over second place Connor Levy from Arizona State going into this race. So Zach DeWale and St. Clair College very comfortably in the lead going into this race with 2 to go. In third place, we have Bradley Daniels from Robert Morris University, 32 points behind the leader, so only 1 point off of second place. Rhett Crane from Ball State University, 43 points behind the leader in fourth place. Austin DeLong from Pennsylvania College of Technology, 50 points off of the leader. So very, very tight battle right here for the second position and this fourth position. Moving back to P6, Daniel Hunter from St. Clair College. He's 53 points behind. Joshua Tiggs, 10 points behind P6. He is in seventh with 128. Joshua Tiggs is from Buena Vista University. And I believe, nope, we're not done with qualifying yet. So that is your top 6. Those are the drivers who statistically have the best shot of winning a championship. Obviously, Zach DeWale um, in the lead right now, and I believe he and St. Clair College are very happy with what he's been able to produce this season, the rookie. So that is the end of qualifying. I stand corrected. So Matt, take us through this starting grid before our Monster Mile 120.
We'll see here. I think these drivers are in a little bit of a warm-up session, so I don't think iRacing is going to provide us that grid quite yet till they start the gridding procedure. But hopefully that will be here momentarily as our drivers get another couple minutes to get comfortable with the track. But a couple drivers we did see have some difficulties in qualifying. Zachary DeWale, as we mentioned, our championship leader at the moment, 31 points clear of second place. Connor Levy, he did have a poor qualifying session. He's going to start down in the bottom of the field just because getting loose off of turn 4, as we saw, greatly hurt his lap time, and that really, really bit him in the end there. He's going to have to make his way through the field if he wants to win another race here in the Prospect Series. A couple other drivers who did fairly well in qualifying. It looks up the front of the field, things like drivers like Daniel Hunter, Edwin Onofre, and Bradley Daniels, regulars at the front of the field in the Prospect Series, finding themselves up there again. But we'll get the official qualifying order here momentarily as our drivers continue to get in a few more laps before this race, because practice does make perfect, especially around this monster mile.
Yeah, in this warm-up session, I think you're going to see a lot of drivers focusing on longer runs. They're going to try and go for 15, 20 lap runs, practice sessions instead of 1 or 2 laps. They've been able to get in and practice their qualifying laps. But now this is their opportunity to really dial it in with how they're going to drive their car during this race session. In the past, we've seen this track eat up tires. So each of these drivers has a certain number of sets of tires. I believe they have 3 or 4 additional sets of tires that they can use over the course of this race. For strategy purposes, if we get a caution, then we'll see that, and we'll see drivers come down to pit road, get some tires. But I think these drivers are going to be very surprised by the tire fall off when we get about 20, 30 laps into this race, if they haven't practiced such already.
Yeah, you make a great point there, Zach. Tire wear is so important here. Just a little anecdotal evidence. My first ever win in a official A fixed session in iRacing came at Dover from tire wear. 60 laps green the whole race. I was sitting in third place the entire time until the final 10 laps, where I was the only one in the field who had tires left. So tires will play a factor here, especially in the closing stages. I do believe there will have to be a pit stop if there are no cautions tonight. So that's going to be a very important factor to watch as well, because this pit road is so tricky to get on, and it's also the slowest pit road of the year at 35 miles per hour. It's so easy to speed, and any speeding penalties is going to pretty much ruin your night.
You're right. I had completely forgot about how slow of a pit road we have here at Dover. But that's an interesting tidbit of information and something that the drivers will definitely need to pay attention to when they come down to pit road, especially if we get a big green flag run here. But I think with the smaller field tonight, there's a very good chance, and I might be the first person to ever say this in CIL history, but I think we could see this race go green flag to flag, which would be amazing. But yeah, this pit road is very tricky to get on just because of the tight high bank turns that dumps you out onto the bank straightaway. There's not a lot of room down low to get off the track and slow down. So drivers are going to have to be very cautious of A, maintaining that coming down to that pit speed limit by the time they cross that line at the start of pit road. But they're also going to have to worry about getting off the banking and not spinning the car.
Yeah, that's a very. It definitely is true. Just that banking makes it so difficult. Really, if you want to pit under green flag speed here at Dover, you pretty much got to be hitting the brakes when you would be lifting off the gas to enter the corner. You're just hard on the brakes right under that ally sign in turn 3. Stay low on the track so you can let anybody going at speed pass you to the high side, and just kind of slide your way down to where there's less banking and slow yourself down enough to get into that entry. But be careful not to hit that pit wall divider, those yellow barrels. That will ruin your night for sure. You get stuck in those, there's no way to get out of it. But yeah, the commitment line is much closer to pit road than the actual speeding line where the cone is. So we could see some drivers really try to take advantage of getting on a pit road quickly, really speeding past that commitment line, and then having a decent chunk of time before they hit the actual pit lane entry. You see Rhett Crane here trying to enter pit road now. This is going to be a good example. He went very low. He's gonna play conservatively here
Oh,
on his practice.
back it down. You got
Yeah,
it.
very conservative there. You know, some of the faster drivers you might see take the banking into pit road, and then when they hit the middle of the corner, they'll transition from the banking to the apron. But it's so hard to pit in green flag pit stops around Dover.
I would
But I,
venture to say that it's probably one of the hardest. It's one of the hardest pit roads to get onto this
yeah,
year.
I'd say so. And up there with Darlington as well. Darlington is one of those tracks that's
Oh,
so
true,
difficult to get on
true.
pit road as well. But now it's time for the grid, excuse me, of our Monster 120 here tonight. Starting on pole position, it says R Muhammad Alif, but he's not showing up on my timing tower for some reason.
Yeah, I've got him on
Interesting.
pole as well on my end.
Anyways, Daniel Hunter from St. Clair College will start second on the outside, and Austin DeLong in third from Pennsylvania College of Technology. In fourth is Edwin Onofre from University of North Texas, and Andrew McCall is in fifth from Purdue. Bradley Daniels in sixth from Robert Morris University, and then Treston Yoder and Rhett Crane round out row four in seventh and eighth. Victor Roldan from St. Clair College will be ninth, and Zachary DeWale, your championship leader, had a poor qualifying session. He's going to be 10th. He's going to have to make his way through the field tonight with Joshua Teagues behind him in 11th, rounding out your field for the Prospect Series race here tonight as our formation lap gets underway here.
And I think a smaller field size tonight is really going to play into Zach DeWale's favor. Is you mentioned he did have a poor qualifying session, but he's still starting 10th, which isn't that far off. And I think a lot of drivers have already checked out for the Thanksgiving break. Happy Thanksgiving to all of you who are watching Thanksgiving week. But smaller field size usually means that the drivers are a lot more friendly and a lot more willing to rub door to door with each other. A lot more action on track. We're going to be looking forward to that. Now that I look at it, is every car in the field a Camaro? I think it is. Look at that.
We might
I've
have
never
that.
noticed. I've never noticed that before.
That is interesting, but we do have Muhammad Leaf on your pole position here tonight, getting some timing tower issues fixed out up here in the technical side of things, but all fixed now as the pace car pulls away and we're getting ready to go green.
Field is stacked up 2 by 2 here, coming into turn 4. Muhammad Alif is your pole sitter. Daniel Hunter to his outside. The green flag is out, and we are racing here at Dover.
Up at the front of the field, Muhammad Alif gets a good jump. Daniel Hunter had a little bit of a moment coming out of turn 4, but is able to keep it together as Austin DeLong stays in the 3rd position. Behind them, side by side, is going to be Rhett Crane on the inside, Bradley Daniels on the outside, and that white and red Robert Morris machine, the inside, that 6 car of Ball State University. But we see behind them a little bit of a battle. Zachary DeWale wants to move himself up. He's currently up 2 spots now off the start, as he continues to make his way through the field, only about 500ths of a second behind Andrew McCall now. Behind Bradley Daniels as they go side by side going into turn 3.
Most of the field has already settled out single file now, but still some great 2 wide action here towards the back of the pack. We've got a lot of cars right here. Got a St. Clair car. We're now 3 wide. Some contact made right there. I believe it's Treston Yoder and Rhett Crane that made contact. 3 wide there into turn 1. That time by Zachary DeWale. A little bit of a flash before his eyes right there, thinking, what in the world is going on? We're 3 wide already, coming up on lap 4 of 120 in this race. So we now see all the drivers settled in single file as we see, I believe that is Bradley Daniels looking to make a move on Andrew McCall, the Purdue machine there. Robert Morris going on Purdue right there, but it looks like Daniels backed out of it and is going to try to take a safer line. Zachary DeWale going underneath the Ball State machine of Rhett Crane, but Rhett Crane's teammate right now, Muhammad Alif, out front with a 4/10 of a second lead over Daniel Hunter from St. Clair College. So a couple of drivers out there have teammates out in the field, but they're on opposite sides of the pack right now.
Yeah, for sure. I think a little bit of argy-bargy between Yoder and Crane almost caused Yoder to lose it and hit the wall, but I think he just kicked it out of the wall, maybe grazed it a touch. But DeWale here, he heard 3 wide earlier, as now it looks like Andrew McCall and Bradley Daniels, the 2 alumni in the field, going side by side through turns 1 and 2. That's McCall on the outside from Purdue. On the inside, that's Bradley Daniels from Robert Morris University as they go side by side down towards turn 3. Daniels on the inside, and I think Rhett Crane's going to want to follow him through as good fight from McCall so far, but I think he's going to have to give that one up coming out of turn 4 as McCall gets a little bit loose but slides right back in line.
Lots of close racing right now between these 3 drivers, and Zach DeWale, as you see on your screen right there, has a beautiful view of it out of his front windshield right now. And I think he might be getting a little concerned that they're racing a little too aggressive right now in these very early stages of this race. But what that all that means for him is that these drivers up in front of him are going to burn through more of their tires quicker, and that means he's going to be able to scoot on by here in about 20 laps or so. So you're definitely concerned if you're a driver right now. You just got off the start of the race. You know your tires are fresh. You don't know if there's going to be a caution coming out soon, but with how single file the field is right now, I doubt that's going to happen. But it's go time for some of these drivers right now. They really want to make up positions while the field is bunched up, but you got to think about 20, 30 laps down the line. How is that going to affect my car?
Yeah, as we see Zachary DeWale make his way past Rhett Crane. Crane just got into the wall out of turn 4, and he lost a lot of speed as a result, so DeWale took the opportunity, moved himself up another spot in the 7th position, up 3 spots at the moment, but he still has a ways to go if he wants to catch the front of the pack. Field spread isn't too bad right now, but further at the front, looks like there's a bit of a train forming with DeLong, the conductor, Edwin Onofre in that green UNT car behind him, and then Robert Morris's Bradley Daniels also eyeing up a chance to make up a position or two here as they go down into turn 3 and 4. DeLong still leading this battle right now, but it looks like Edwin is catching him lap by lap.
Something that I've noticed right now is all of these drivers are sticking to that low line, with the exception of Bradley Daniels. Not 521. All of these drivers are going low through the corners. You can see them hugging that apron, getting as close to that black and white line division there at the bottom that you can see. But Bradley Daniels, especially through turns 1 and 2, he's been running about a half a lane up where you can see that rubber build up through the corners. So I'm wondering if maybe he's got a little tire strategy going on right now, going where his opponents aren't. Going to see if he can make something work here in the as the laps tick up.
Speaking of making something work, Zachary DeWale wants to make a move around the outside of Andrew McCall. You don't see that very often here at Dover, but he gets the move done, and DeWale's up another spot in the 6th. He's got his sights set now on the 521 car of Bradley Daniels from Robert Morris University. DeWale wants to see him into the top 5, and looks like Bradley Daniels has kind of fallen off the back of the 2 cars in front of him now. He's kind of on his own, stuck between a DeWale who's catching and an Edwin Onofre who's losing time to.
I'm looking at this battle that's forming up towards the back of the field right here. Rhett Crane and Andrew McCall going at it right now. I believe this is for the 7th position here in the race, but they are side by side right now, not giving each other an inch of room off the corner right there as Andrew McCall gets a blistering run out of turn 2 and is going to be able to clear the 6. But the 6 is opting for that higher line, going to take the faster way around the corners to try and catch back up to that 018 Purdue machine of Andrew McCall. So maybe a little mistake right there from Rhett Crane that caused him to drop back, or just a really good run from the 018 right there. But Rhett Crane on damage control right now, going to take a few laps to really recompose himself and try for another run here at the 018. Is looking up towards the front of the field. I believe that lead that Muhammad Alif has grown to almost a second, but we've still got a great battle right here for the 3rd position. That's Edwin Onofre looking to the inside of the 22 of Austin DeLong there on your screen from the Pennsylvania College of Technology. Doesn't really present much of an attack right there, Edwin doesn't. But he's getting into the brain of the 22 right now, looking low again. He's got a bumper inside, really using that bottom groove to his advantage on those relatively fresh tires. Keeping DeLong to that outside where maybe he's not as comfortable. And these two side by side have now allowed Bradley Daniels and the 0-2 of Zach DeWale back into the mix, as now DeWale gets around Daniels. So DeWale has come from 10th to 4th in 17 laps. He is on a hell march to the front of the field right now.
Yeah, I think DeWale is doing a really good job with his tires right now. I think just as Bradley Daniels and Edwin Onofre begin to struggle, but Edwin Onofre now under pressure from Zachary DeWale. He's making a move to the inside in turns 1 and 2. He's going to get that done middle of the corner. DeWale doing a fantastic job of moving himself through the field at the moment. Onofre was just caught up a little bit by DeLong, and now DeLong's going to come under pressure. He's going to get 2 positions in 1 lap here, DeWale is, and he does a great job managing his tires in the first 15, 20 laps, and he's moved himself up into the 3rd position in the first 20 laps after starting 5th. But Onofre, he's using this opportunity to make a move on DeLong now. DeWale punched a hole for him to follow, and it looks like he's going to take that opportunity and make the move on DeLong as DeLong really begins to struggle with his tires now. As Daniels is in the outside wall a little bit, but all is well as they continue on for another lap here in lap 19 of 120.
Somebody has lit a match under the seat of the driver of the 0-2 right there, because he is on an absolute, he's got a rocket of a race car right now. And I'm looking at, I think Daniels might have spun him. We got a spin on the high side right there. That's Andrew McCall. Looks like he's going to keep it straight. I don't believe we're going to have a caution, but trouble right there for the Purdue machine. It looks like he got sideways coming out of the corner, just couldn't correct it, and went into the outside wall there into turn 1. So we're going to check in and see what happened there, as it looks like he's going to try and hobble that car back to pit road. But I'm looking at these lap times right now from Austin DeLong. He was starting out running 23.7, 23.6. We're now 20 laps into this race, and he is a second and a half slower than what he started the race on. We're running 25.1s, 25.2s. Now, if we compare that to Zach DeWale, whose most recent lap was a 25.0, he's at least a few tenths faster than some of these guys right now. But I think we're starting to see his tires degrade a little bit, as he's now about a second off the pace from where he started his race on.
Yeah, it's so difficult to race hard around this track and conserve tires at the same time. You really have to make up your mind. And I think Edwin from University of North Texas has done a good job of just managing his tires into the race so far, not being too aggressive with it. And I think DeWale really had to push his way through the field in order to gain some spots. But now he's really coming under pressure from Onofre now. It looks like Onofre was just not expecting DeWale to make the move when he did. And now the tides have turned, and that green machine, that 99 machine, Edwin Onofre is going to be looking to make another move here momentarily up into the podium positions, but DeWale is going to have something to say about that.
And DeWale is going to try and make that car as wide as possible. I think I'm seeing him right now, at least in these last couple of laps, diamonding the corner. And it looks like he got really loose right there off of turn 2, so that may have been unintentional. That's going to allow the 99 to come back up the inside right here through turns 3 and 4. But the 02 DeWale is going to use that higher lane to his advantage, going to take that more speedy route through the corner, leave the 99 behind. So that's going to leave Onofre to try and rebase a little bit to mount another attack. But going back to what I was saying, I'm looking at these lines that these drivers are running, and some of them have transitioned to running that middle groove. Some of them are still running, well, very few of them are still running that very bottom groove, but a lot of them are running this diamond corner where they enter the corner lower, kind of take the center higher up, and then return to the low side to try and point the car as straight as possible going down the straightaway. We see a lot of drivers in real life using that trick of diamonding the corners. There you see the 99 of Onofre finally makes his way around the 02 for that third position. So Zach DeWale, maybe he burned up a little too much of his tires making that run through the field and getting punished for it a little bit right now.
As you see further back the field, DeLong going slow into turns 1 and 2. He's going to be pulling to the apron and just trying to make his way around the track. I'm not sure what's wrong with his car at the moment. He does have a lot of damage on that left side. That left front tire is not spinning, though.
That is not good for the 22. So, thinking maybe some suspension components broken. He might have gotten loose out of a corner and clipped that inside wall. But we're going to look at a replay here. But the good news is he is not completely out of this race yet, by all means. Each of these drivers, yep, that's exactly what happened. He's coming out of turn 4 right there. He just got loose and did the thing that everybody does. They get loose and they just go straight for that inside wall. But a lot of suspension damage you can assume right there for the 22, but he will be able to come down pit road and take his fast repair, which will give him a brand new car that he will be able to go back out on track with. But unfortunately, he will lose at least a couple of laps here, making that pit stop.
Yeah, I'm not 100% up to date on what the fuel strategy for this race tonight is, but is that going to be able to provide enough fuel for Austin DeLong to maybe make it to the end of this race if he pits here on lap 30? It's still 90 laps to go. I think it's going to be a bit of a stretch, but he might be able to do it.
I think he might be able to do it as well. Coming into this race, I was definitely thinking a one-stop strategy with an undercut. You can split this race half and half, 60 laps per run, as we just passed a quarter of the way through. So I believe your pit window opens around lap 40, or like lap 35, lap 40-ish, and it'll close around lap 70.
Yeah, it looks like Andrew McCall just spun in turns 3 and 4, and it sent him straight to the pit lane. And I think he might be taking an early pit stop here.
Hearing some compliments on the team radios right now for that move that he just pulled off, and being able to save it and go on pit road. So maybe an unintentional strategy stop right here, as we're going to have a replay for you.
No, I think that was a purposeful stop, though.
Oh, so look at that drift. Oh, man. Wow.
Yeah, I
You're
think
right. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's the purposeful stop from Andrew McCall very early on. He might be playing the two-stop strategy here, so we'll have to see how that plays out. Really burned up those tires getting into pit lane, so I don't think he's going to be using those tires much anymore. But still, at the front of the field, Muhammad Alif is your leader from Ball State University. He's got a 2.3-second gap to Daniel Hunter behind him, but Daniel Hunter, that last lap by, was a little bit quicker than Muhammad Alif, but the fastest car on track, the 99 from the University of North Texas, Edwin Onofre. We'll see what kind of ground he can make up in these following laps. Still about 3.87 seconds behind the leader, but long way to go in this race.
Yeah, we're just over a quarter of the way through this race, so still a lot of racing left. We only had a handful of drivers come in and make their first pit stops. So I think at this point, if you're going to try and two stop it, you need to stop now, else you're committing to that one stop split right in the middle at lap 60. So that window for a two stop is closing. But I think personally, my opinion is that if you can one stop it, you probably should one stop it, especially if it's staying green. But we're going to see if these drivers who have stopped with the McCall and DeLong, we're going to see what their pace differential looks like and if they have the potential to maybe unlap themselves.
Yeah, looking at the lap times right now, that last lap by Andrew McCall was a second and a half quicker than the leaders. He ran a 24 flat, now just ran a 23.92. The leaders are running mid 25s, 25.5, pretty much from the top four drivers that last time by, all on the same lap time there. So a second and a half per lap over, you know, maybe the next 30 laps is going to definitely give him at least one lap back. But given how short this track is, how fast this track is, and how long the pit lane is, given how slow you're going, you lose a lot of time on pit road, and coming down to pit road twice in one race is definitely not something I can see working out for them. But I've seen crazier things happen, and if cautions come out at the right time, those guys in the two-stop strategy might just be looking at a solid hand in their poker deck right now.
That is true. Some of these guys may be banking on somebody up at the front of the field making a mistake coming to pit road, maybe spinning as they're coming off that banking in turns 3 and 4. But you mentioned that pace differential of about a second and a half a lap. Well, give it about 15 laps or so, up to 20-ish laps. You're going to see that pace differential go completely away. I'm looking at these drivers' lap times, and all of them hit their first 25-second lap either on or right after lap 20. So these drivers that pit are going to have significant pace differential in their favor for a little bit, but that's going to go away pretty quickly, and then it's going to start playing into the favor of the leaders.
Yeah, but then you do have to remember that this is all going to play out twice. Just if these two-stop strategy drivers stay on the two-stop strategy for this race, it's definitely going to play, and it's going to be interesting to see. Andrew McCall right now, still 2 laps down, though. I think he's trying to get past the 0-2 of Zachary DeWale, who's in fourth position. He's 6 seconds back from the leader to get 1 lap back, so he's only 1 lap down. I think it's going to be a bit of a stretch for these 2 lap drivers, looking at the pace they have at the moment and how fast the leaders are still. Rhett Crane comes to pit road now.
Ooh, almost got into the yellow barriers right there at the pit divider. You saw him lock up the brakes just a hair, and that car turned right, but he was able to correct it and keep it going. So great hands right there from Brett Crane as he makes his pit
Oh,
stop. As now
leader
we
in
see
the
him getting
wall!
his turn.
Our Muhammad
Oh
Ali
my goodness!
our Muhammad Alif getting unlapped by, I believe that was Victor Roldan from St. Clair College. And I think
Oh
a bit of
my!
a miscommunication there as we see our Muhammad Alif turned into the outside wall. We're going to get a replay of that here.
This changes everything in the pit strategy. My goodness.
Yeah, coming off of turn 4 here, our Muhammad Alif in the white car on the bottom. I think he just came up a bit too early on.
Wasn't clear.
Yeah, I think he might have cleared himself there prematurely. We'll get another quick look at this. Coming up the
Looks
track
like
out of
a
turn 4.
Looks like a Leaf took a wider line out of the corner right there, than rolled in. World and taking a very shallow line, trying to leave the space there for a Leaf to get by, but just not clear right there. As a Leaf will come to pit road to take his fast repair and probably put some new tires on as we see the rest of the leaders who didn't pit there coming onto pit road. There you see the 99 of Onofre coming in. Uh, Daniel Hunter, I see Bradley Daniels as well coming in behind him. So a lot of cars here. Treston Yoder as well down on pit road, getting 4 fresh Goodyears. We're going to see who wins the race off of pit road. Elif's car is down. He is away. He will win the race off of pit road by a long shot. Zach DeWale will retain his third position. Daniel Hunter will stay in second. Edwin Onofre will lose a spot there to Bradley Daniels.
Yeah, Onofre had a bit of a slow stop in pit road. I think maybe he overshot his box or just a bit slow into the box or slow on pit road in general. We don't have the details up here in the commentary booth to get the detailed analysis, but we do know that he dropped a few spots. So losing a spot to Bradley Daniels there. I think Bradley Daniels also had some damage. He was in the wall a few times in that first stint, but a third of the way through the race, our leader, our Muhammad Ali, involved in an accident, trying to lap some or trying to allow. He was trying to lap a car, right? It wasn't unlapping himself, the fixed team. So our Muhammad Ali.
I believe it was to go another lap down. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so Victor Roldan, the 16 car from St. Clair College, a lap down, just our Muhammad Leaf just maybe cleared himself a bit too early coming out of turn four, caused our first caution of the night here. A lot of tongue twisters going on in my mouth tonight. But I think Rhett Crane, I think he just came to pit road as the caution came out, and I think he's barely going to stay on the lead lap. So a little unfortunate to lose position by pitting as the caution came out, but at least he didn't lose a lap.
That is true. That incident has been dubbed a racing incident by our live stewards, and yeah, that's about it. You can't really place blame on one driver. One driver is just two drivers taking a different line, can't communicate between each other, and it's just it's unfortunate to see that. But if you're a Leaf, you got to be glad that there wasn't more collateral damage, that he was able to bring his car back around to pit road and thankfully not lose any positions there relative to the rest of the lead pack. So he will retain the lead out of that pack, and the lead of the race, I believe, is Rhett Crane will take the wave around this time by.
Yeah, a good job for some damage control there from our Muhammad Alif as they come around. Pace car lights, I believe, will go off here, and that's going to give Rhett Crane the chance to pull himself past the pace car and get to the back of the pack. As we re-rack him here going into turn one, that pace car has its lights out, and we're going to get ready to go racing here from Dover for the Monster 120. Lap 45 of 120 at the moment, about a third of the way through the race. First caution of the night. We'll see how this affects the driver's strategies for the rest of the evening.
And I do believe everybody came down pit road right there, except for the six of Rhett Crane, who had just come down pit road right before that caution had come out. So if you're one of those drivers who stopped earlier to take a set of tires, that really puts you at a disadvantage. You did not want that caution to come out at all.
Yeah, we see Rhett Crane get to the back of the field there. Maybe a bit too eager as they go into turn three. Our Muhammad Alif leading the field to green for the first or second restart of the night. To his outside is Bradley Daniels, and in third, another St. Clair College car. It's Zachary DeWale up 7 spots. He had a poor qualifying due to getting loose off the last corner, but pace car pulls away. We're getting ready to go green here.
2 by 2, they'll come once again. Our Muhammad Alif, the leader, as they approach the Geico restart zone. And he's going to take off, get a great restart as Bradley Daniels also gets a good start and will tuck in right behind the 12 as they cross the stripe. We're green again here at the Monster Mile.
Down into turn one, DeWale is able to hold off in that third position. It looks like Bradley Daniel went a bit deep into the corner. Now he's going to come under some pressure from Joshua Teagues, who's up 6 spots in this race. Didn't qualify well, but he's in a good position now. He's in the top 5 as they go down into turn 3. The top 3 have started to pull ahead a little bit, stretch their legs as Teagues is under pressure here, trying to make a move on Bradley Daniels, but also making sure he defends from Edwin Onofre behind us. Onofre is under pressure from DeLong as well, so you got to attack and defend at the same time if you're some of these drivers. It's such a difficult thing to do, but they're managing it well here, lap 47.
And we've got to give Alif some credit for what he was able to do during that last run. He was able to put a 2.5-second gap between him and the field, but and I believe that gap was growing there before the caution had come out, so we're going to see if he's able to do it again. However, on this certain occasion, he's got 2 St. Clair drivers behind him, in Daniel Hunter and Zach DeWale, and you got to be thinking those 2 are working together to try and get around you. So it's 2 against 1 right here at the top of the pack. And where is Alif's teammate? He's here at the back of the pack, Rhett Crane, who pitted right before that caution. He's now battling with the 22 of Austin DeLong there for the last spot on the track. Looking up here to the middle of the pack, we've got a 3-car fight. I believe that is for the 4th position between Bradley Daniels, Joshua Teagues, and Edwin Onofre in that green UNT machine. A great battle going on right here as Teagues gets a little loose through the center right there, has to check up. That's going to open the door for the 99 to make a run, but he can't quite get that run to stick as here comes the 09 of Treston Yoder looking to the outside of that green car. So we've got a great battle forming right here for the 4th, 5th, 6th, and 7th positions here on track.
Yeah, great fight from all the cars up there. As it looks like the top three have kind of fallen back into the clutches of these mid-pack drivers. Daniels, Teagues, Onofre, they're all catching up to the leaders. So maybe a bit of hard racing in the middle of the pack, but maybe tire conservation and race management at the front as quarter of a second gap between Alif and Daniel Hunter behind. But between Hunter and DeWale, it's only about a tenth of a second, and you could say the same for the rest of these drivers. As they're under a blanket now, going through turns 3 and 4 to the outside, Teagues wants to make a move on Daniels, and Daniels is oh so close to the wall out of 4, but he keeps it out of it. Going down to turn 1, he's still in the 4th position.
Field still bunched up single file. I believe only about a second and a half separating the first place through the back of to the back of this pack. I can't talk. My goodness, I'm ready for Thanksgiving too. But great racing right here we're seeing, even though it's single file, this is still very close. Anybody can make a lunge on the car in front of him. As it looks like a Leaf got a little loose right there through turns 1 and 2. That's going to open the door for P2 right there to come up behind him and try to make a run, but can't quite materialize anything from that 49 car. As now both of those front two cars have started to pull away from the rest of the field.
Yeah, Daniel Hunter having a good race here in that 49 car from St. Clair College. He's been up at the front of the field in the top two the entire race, a bit lonely at times, but he's not lonely right now. He's going to look to the inside of Ar Muhammad Alif into turns 3 and 4. He's going to send Ar Muhammad Alif way up the racetrack, taking that middle line, and he's going to make a move for the lead here for St. Clair College. Daniel Hunter, the 49 car, your new leader, as there's a bit of action further back in the pack. We're going to go 3 wide here into turn 1 potentially as they figure it all out before they get to the corner, but side by side is Teagues and Onofre. This has been a battle that's been brewing all race now. These guys are so close. I'm a little worried there's going to be an incident here soon.
Excellent heads-up move right there from the 12 of Alif, who got sent a little wide into that corner. Our new leader, when he was attempting that overtake, really stuck it in the middle of the track and overdrove the corner. So heads-up move there by Alif to not cause an incident, but he is now comfortably behind the leader, but still under attack from the 0-2 of Zach DeWale as we look kind of towards the back of the pack here. Edwin Onofre has fallen back since this restart, maybe used a little too much of his tires battling for those positions higher up in the pack, but I noticed a couple laps ago the 521 of Bradley Daniels had gotten loose off of turn 4, came down in the middle of the track, and had taken the 99 of Onofre with him. So almost an incident right there, and that's what caused the 3 wide going into turn 1 that we saw a couple laps ago. Because there you see some more 2 wide battles towards the back of the pack. That's Rhett Crane to 6, very loose off of turn 4 right there. So maybe some tire fade coming into play right now for some of these drivers having to manage their tires. 6 underneath the 22 of Austin DeLong from Penn Tech. And if you're Rhett Crane, you're definitely not comfortable now being at the back of this pack, but you know that your teammate is up at the front of the field. So at this point, what are you doing to help your teammate?
Yeah, it's got to be very interesting, as we might see that come into play later if there are any if Daniel Hunter tries to lap the field as Edwin Onofre gets past Joshua Teagues. Teagues restarting 5th is down a spot, down into 6th, but still up 5 spots since the start of this race. But just to note that Andrew McCall in the 22 car, that light blue Penn College of Technology car, is 2 laps down at the moment, so he is not fighting for position. The car 1 lap down is Andrew McCall, so if there is another caution, McCall will get the free pass. But at the front of the field, this battle has tightened up again. Daniel Hunter now only having a 0.2 of a second lead over Alif, but his St. Clair College teammate in 3rd has a 1.5 gap to the 2nd place cars. Bradley Daniel is up there trying to stick with the leaders. These guys are not letting each other get away from one another.
The St. Clair sandwich right now up at the front of the field. The 49, the 12, and the 0-2. St. Clair, Ball State, St. Clair now coming under fire from Robert Morris's Bradley Daniels in the 521, who's sitting back there just watching, licking his chops, hoping that these leaders will go 2 wide at some point, as we are now past the halfway point of this race on lap 62 of 120. So a lot of racing we've had here on track, still a lot of racing to come. We've seen some great battles, and hopefully this battle up front, if the back of the field has been any indicator of what we're going to see up here, we're in for a treat in these last 60 laps.
Yeah, for sure. As it looks like Muhammad Ali maybe burned up his tires a bit more than he did in that first stint when he was just out in front with clean air for so long. But it looks like Daniel Hunter now way up the track. He might be struggling with a bit of front tire wear as only 2/10 of a second between the two cars heading into turn three. Only 2/10 of a second between third and fourth, and Dwayne and Daniels behind them. But Muhammad Ali right on that rear bumper as Hunter gets a little bit loose coming out of turn four. A little too much steering angle as he put the gas down. But still in the lead going into turn one, but Muhammad Ali is seeing his opportunity here as he really gets that car turned so much better than Hunter there in the middle of the corner, and he's going to use that to make a move down towards turn three. He's got a bumper, or nose underneath the bumper of Daniel Hunter, and I wonder if Muhammad Ali is going to play a bit nicer than Hunter did when he made the pass for the lead as Hunter gets loose again coming out of the corner for another lap.
I think Leaf has received some intel from his teammate Rhett Crane as to how to drive in that dirty air. Rhett Crane has been driving in the middle to the back of that lead pack all day, so he knows how to navigate that dirty air. And it looks like that information relay has worked. As now Leaf is side by side here for the second consecutive corner with the 49. The 49 is going to really close down on the 12 right here, coming out of turn four. He catches the wall. The 12 takes evasive action, goes low. No incident out of it yet, but that is going to allow the 12 of Leaf to retake the lead here on lap 66 in the Monster Mile 120, and that's going to leave the 49 in the dust.
Yeah, super unfortunate from the 49 there to get in the wall. It's very easy to do here at Dover. Those walls come up so quick coming out of turns 4 and 2. So I think he's really lost a lot of time now as further back to the pack. Bradley Daniels, I think, had a bit of a moment there because he just lost a lot of time to Zachary DeWale and Edwin Onofre as well. So he might have had a moment coming out of turn 4. So Edwin's going to say thank you very much to that mean green 99 machine from University of North Texas in the top 5 now. Top 4, I should say.
Edwin Onofre, the greeny meanie. I like that.
Mean green 99 machine.
That's what mean green 99 machine. I like that.
Going through turns 1 and 2 now. Edwin Onofre having a bit of a yo-yo race, up at the front, down in the back, up in the front again. We'll see if he can make a move on Zachary DeWale here, who's had a bit more of a straightforward race moving through the field. Looks like DeWale might be struggling with his tires a bit more now. I think, he was able to conserve some tires while making moves earlier because he was passing some slower cars, but trying to keep up with the faster cars of Daniel Hunter and Muhammad Ali maybe was just a bit too much for his tires as he's really struggling now. That last lap by was a 25.2. A lot of other cars around him ran a 25.1. Even that last lap time, Muhammad Ali ran a 23. Excuse me, I'm looking at the best lap time there. The 24.89. So he's the only driver still in the 24s. That last lap by is we only have 50 laps to go here.
Looking back up towards the front of the field, Leaf has pulled out to a 1.8 second lead over the 49 of Daniel Hunter. So whatever, I think Leaf may have found something while he was in that dirty air, a new way to get around the track and hold a ton of speed through the corners. As I'm watching his laps, and he's starting to diamond the corners as well on these older tires. So I'm thinking he might have found something in this new pattern, as the lead is now 2.1 seconds. 2.6 back to Zach DeWale in P3, 2.8 back to Edwin Onofre in P4. So if you're a Leaf, you got to be careful. You might burn your tires up too quickly, and the next thing you know, these guys are going to come up out of nowhere with about 20 to go. As we're looking at a battle towards the back of the pack right here, this Treston Yoder on, I believe that is, can't tell quite who that car is on the outside.
Joshua Teagues and Andrew McCall as well.
Joshua Teagues right there, he was locked in a battle with, but Andrew McCall got a little Code Brown moment right there as the 09 got really loose out of the bottom of turn 4, checked up into the 018. It's a great heads-up move by Andrew McCall right there to avoid that not cause an incident.
Yeah, up at the front of the field again, those St. Clair College teammates, I think they had a bit of, I don't know if that was a pass that was, team orders type pass, or if that was just a mistake from Daniel Hunter that made the pass easy. But the two St. Clair College cars have swapped positions now. Daniel Hunter, we saw him dominate from that. He really had a lonely race in second position earlier on. He's going to have to relinquish that second place he's been in for most of the race to his St. Clair teammate Zachary DeWale. As I think DeWale has a bit of pace in that car, and he wants to see if he can hunt down Muhammad Ali at the front of the pack right now. But behind these guys now, Edwin Onofre and Bradley Daniels, who both are looking to gain a few more spots here.
Here we're looking at a battle between the 521, the 99, and the 49. This is for the third position as the 99 of Onofre gets a huge run right there into the corner. I think the tires on Hunter's machine might have gone out just a little bit. He's losing a significant amount of pace to these guys behind him. Had a pretty considerable lead over his teammate. But Zach the Whale, his teammate, was able to get by, and now he's coming under fire from the mean green 99 machine of Onofre, who's now got a bump rear view mirror full of the 521 of Daniels from Robert Morris University. So this is a great battle that we're shaping up right now.
Yeah, as it looks like these guys are still nose to bumper through turns 3 and 4, but it is so hard if you're in the middle of trying to make a move as well as trying to defend, because if you make a move and it doesn't come off, then you're going to be under pressure. As I think Onofre wants to make a move here, as he maybe just defend the inside line there rather than attack the inside line of Daniel Hunter. But way up the track, that's Bradley Daniels in the 521. Just because if you're in the middle of the attacking and defending sandwich, you can be used as a pick so easily for that lead car if you're trying to attack. It looks like Bradley Daniels will get the move done here in turns 3 and 4 around the outside and get the move done in the middle of the corner. That's very impressive from the 521. You don't see moves like that very often here at Dover, but he's making it work as he goes up to the high side again in turns 1 and 2. He wants to use that middle line to his advantage throughout the entire track, as it looks like he's going to make a move on Daniel Hunter here into turn 3. No, not quite. He's going to still ride that high line, though. Really roll the speed into the corner and try to maximize his exit speed and maybe make a move into turn 1 here as he almost hits the wall. He's going to get a little bit loose. He's going to have to relinquish that position to Edwin Onofre. Bradley Daniel riding the edge of adhesion, and it bites him, and he's going to have to lose a spot that he just got from Edwin Onofre.
Bradley Daniels is loving that high line through the corners right now. I noticed he started off using that at the beginning of the race, and he has stuck to his guns using that, and it is serving him well. It's how he was able to get around the 99 the first time right there. He set up a really great run into turns 1 and 2, had some monster speed coming out of turn 2, and was able to set up that pass into turn 3 to get around the 99. But running that higher line means that you can't quite get on the throttle as much as you can getting out of the corner, because there's less distance between you and the wall, and we saw that happen. That was the mistake he made to put him back behind the 99. It looks like the 99 gets loose right there. That's going to let the 521 up onto the high side where he enjoys, and there's not even going to be a contest going into turn 1 right here. It looks like Onofre was trying to set up a move on the 49 of Hunter right there, but got loose out of turn 4 and couldn't quite get anything to stick, and now he's lost out on that 4th position to Daniels. So it's Daniels' turn to attack the rear bumper of that 49.
Yeah, I honestly think, looking at Daniel Hunter and just how he's driving, I don't even think it's a tire wear or a issue along those lines. I think we saw Daniel Hunter smack the wall really hard earlier trying to defend the lead from Muhammad Alif, and I think that caused him some damage. There's a little bit of pushing and shoving there coming out of turn 2, almost contact between Daniels and Hunter, but they avoid it, and Daniels is on the high side going into turn 3 and 4, but that lower line is going to shortcut the corner as Daniels gets to the outside quarter panel of Daniel Hunter. Really loose. Almost collects Edwin Onofre from University of North Texas, but able to keep it out of the wall and other cars around him as he wants to make another move here. I really think Bradley Daniels is playing with fire by running that high line. You really need to maximize your exit here if you want to run the high line, and if you get too close to the wall, then not only are you going to ruin your own race car, but potentially cause a big wreck and hurt some of the other drivers' chances for tonight as he gets a little bit loose there, maybe again coming out of the corner. But these cars cannot be separated. They've been together like this for 10 laps, I feel like.
Thoroughly impressed by the number of times that Daniels has slid that car up to the wall and kept it going, and then he's still able to have this pace. Look at this move that he's about to put on Daniel Hunter right here around the outside, but couldn't get it to stick. The 49 drove it really deep into the corner. But Daniels is going to get a better run here down the front straightaway as Hunter shut that down very quickly going into turn 1. So great battle lighting up right here for this 3rd position between these drivers. Looking up towards the front of the field, Muhammad Alif has pulled away to a 4.1 second lead over 2nd place Zach the Whale, who has a 4-second lead over 3rd place Daniel Hunter. So these 3 guys right here are duking it out for the 3rd position unless we get a caution here.
Yeah, Daniel Hunter putting on a defensive clinic here at Dover. He's been able to hold on to this spot for a long time now, and I think Onofre as well as Bradley Daniels are both really feeling the heat in their tires now. It's so difficult, and we've definitely seen Bradley Daniels abuse those tires on that high line and really crank the car into the exit of the corners. It looks like Rhett Crane is on pit road there. Unsure if that's a scheduled stop or if maybe he hit the wall, but still about 30 laps to go here in this race, 34 laps or so. Bradley Daniels still trying to size up a move around the outside of the St. Clair College car of Daniel Hunter, and he's not going to be able to get there into the corner. And it's so difficult to make a move around the outside here because that you're able to shortcut the track taking the inner line, and you can't really get the speed on the outside that you'd want to kind of cut off the exit of the leading car.
You're absolutely right. The 49 of Daniel Hunter putting on a defensive masterclass right now. But give credit where credit is due to him. But if you can kind of you can kind of give some credit to the two guys behind him that have been going at it with each other instead of working together to try and get around the 49. That's one of the things that bothers me so much, at least when I'm out on track, is when I'm trying to pass the guy who's driving in front of me, and then somebody behind me decides to get side by side, and that's gonna slow both of you down. So neither of you have a good chance of getting around him. As now you see the 49 comes to pit road. As there we just hit lap 90 of 120. He smokes the tires something fierce coming onto pit road. So new tires coming for the 49. I'm not sure if that was a scheduled pit stop or not, but an interesting strategy there from the 49. We're going to see if it works by the time this race finishes. There you see lap 90, 91 now, so over 3/4 of the way through. That's going to let the 521 of Daniels inherit that third position and promote Onofre up to fourth. There you see Daniel Hunter hitting his pit box right here. He's going to try and keep it flawless. 4 tires going on the car. He's going to try to get it off of pit road and get back on the track as fast as possible. He should lose about 2 laps right here.
Yeah, I think
if caution were to come out right now, he is in that free pass position. I believe he just got lapped again right there.
Yeah, I think that definitely had to have been a scheduled stop. Just the way he entered pit road was very, very smooth. A great entrance from Daniel Hunter. I think he really wants to see if there's no cautions the rest of the... Well, he hopes he doesn't see a caution the rest of the race, or his strategy is ruined. But if he came to pit road, I think there was no way that he had the fuel necessary to finish this race. So I think we might have to see a pit stop from these drivers here later on. But that's very surprising. I wouldn't expect Daniel Hunter to pit if he was having really, really bad tire wear. I'd expect him to pit if he didn't have the fuel to finish the race. As Andrew McCall now from Purdue University comes to pit road. There he is in his pit stall. The 018 car, he's also on pit road as Bradley Daniels and Edwin Onofre are still battling it out on track. Those two very close. As Bradley Daniels looks a bit slow to me, but that's just how much the tires have worn in this car. As behind them, Rhett Crane from Ball State University wants to get a lap back. He's going to pass these two cars like it's nothing. Fresh rubber is so quick around here. Andrew McCall also on the apron there, exiting pit road. Good job from everyone involved there to keep it clean and continue on their way. They're each running their own race at the moment as way up the track, Rhett Crane goes in front of them. But still surprised by Daniel Hunter's decision to pit there. He must have something up his sleeve that the rest of us don't know.
Well, you mentioned fuel, and I was thinking you could definitely make it 120 laps on fuel here. That's only 120 miles. That is not a long distance. But he may have made a mistake when he came to pit road under caution and forgot to check the fuel button. So he may have. I mean, I'm not sure what. I'm baffled. I'm not gonna lie. I'm interested to see where this goes, though.
I wonder if he thinks that
why. Yeah.
I'm wondering if he thinks that the fall off from the lap time and the tires is just so great right now. Daniel Hunter, that last lap by, he ran a 24.2. I believe that was his first lap at speed, though, as Joshua Teagues also comes into pit road now as well. Multiple cars coming to pit road now, which is very interesting, but last time by, Daniel Hunter, 24.07 lap time. That's a second and a half quicker than our leaders. So, very interesting strategies. Onofre here is going to use Andrew McCall as a bit of a roadblock or a bit of a battering ram to make a move here on Bradley Daniels on the inside, the green car, Onofre on the outside, Bradley Daniels. Clips the apron a little bit on the entry, so he's going to lose a ton of speed, so Daniels will hold on to the third position for now. But Daniel Hunter, 24... Ooh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
I'll just say
It's
Daniel Hunter
amazing
ran
how. Oh my gosh.
a little
You go.
Canadian standoff here now, but yeah, Daniel Hunter ran at 24-1 the last time by 24-5 from our Muhammad Ali, so about a second and a half, give or take, each lap in difference. But that's not going to be enough to make up 2 laps under green here. Daniel Hunter he might have shot himself in the foot here potentially.
Yeah, I'm still trying to reason why he came down pit road there. If he came down pit road during the caution that we had right at lap 40. Um, I don't know, but I'm interested to see where this goes. But going back here to live action on the track, you see Daniels and Onofre still locked in this battle after God knows how many laps as we're approaching 20 to go in this race. Alif is still the leader in the 12 machine for Ball State University, has a 5.5 second lead over second place DeWale out of St. Clair College. Bradley Daniels is there, you see on your screen, and Edwin Onofre third and fourth locked in this battle for third. Robert Morris right now over North Texas. But this battle is still heating up. I don't believe either of these drivers have intentions of coming to pit road, as there you see we've hit 20 laps to go in this race. Only 20 miles from here to the finish for these drivers to settle it out.
Yeah, you just see how high Edwin Onofre entered the corner there. Very interesting. You really want to try to take that inner corner like you did there. Stay off the gas as long as you can and let the car turn. I think he gains a bit more time there on Bradley Daniels. Notice he's in 5th gear there. Let's see. Gear selection here is a very interesting choice. I think some drivers prefer to stay in 4th and some drivers might stay in 5th. As we compare the two inboard cams, looks like Bradley Daniels in front of him also in 5th gear. I've known some drivers here will also decide to shift in the corners because they think that there might be a bit more speed there. Revs below 7,000 is very interesting. I'm surprised that they're not running in 4th gear all the time.
Yeah, you mentioned shifting in the corners here. It's definitely a strategy that some drivers can think about if they want to shift down to 4th in the corners, but you're going to burn through more fuel. It's going to put some more stress on your engine and your tires, but it is a little bit faster. So it's using up a lot more. It's using up a lot more resources per lap for a little more speed. But if you're in a desperate situation, like maybe the 99 of Onofre is here, you may consider it if you've practiced it, but it is hard to pull off. As we're now inside 17 laps to go, now 16 to go in this race. So it's crunch time for these drivers, and with only 2 races left in the season, you got to think about every point possible. I'm going to look and see where these guys are in the championship.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that I was thinking of is, I've run previous races here where fuel conservation is so important. And it wasn't uncommon to see drivers run in 5th gear the whole time to save fuel. So it's very possible that maybe Daniel Hunter didn't have enough fuel to get to the end just because there just were too many laps left and he wasn't saving fuel, and then he had to come to pit road. So maybe these guys are in 5th gear trying to save a little bit of fuel, because I think the fastest way around this track is 4th gear. But we'll have to see, as we have only 15 laps remaining right now. Your leader, Muhammad Ali from Ball State University, running the show right now, as the fastest lap of the race was just set by Joshua Teagues. He's currently a few laps down. He set a 23.47. That's the fastest lap of the race. So,
Ooh, that's a lap.
Yeah, that's a very good lap from him. But we'll see if he can make his way past DeLong. He's only a couple tenths of a second back. I think that move's about to happen now, as DeLong on old tires, Teagues on new tires, and he's going to make that move very, very easily down into turn 1 and 2. That is
I'm looking at the championship standings right now. Bradley Daniels is in 3rd place. He is 32 points behind Zach DeWale, but only 1 point behind Connor Levy in front of him, who, mind you, is not in tonight's race.
Daniel Hunter there trying to get 1 lap back, as he just made him pass past the 3rd and 4th place cars in the lead lap. Daniel Hunter, I think he's realizing that his strategy might not be working for him, as that last time by, he's still about a second and a half quicker than the leaders, but there's only 12 laps to go here, so that would be what? You get 13 seconds on the leaders, maybe? No, you get like 18 seconds, which, he might get 1 lap back, Daniel Hunter, but I don't think he's going to get back the laps he needs to be in contention for where he was before he pitted.
Yeah, the strategy definitely did not work like these drivers intended. I think they thought that they were going to get uh, some more time out of it. Maybe they thought they were uh, low on tires, that the car was just not in a very drivable state for them. If they thought they were low on fuel, but this is a lesson that you learn and that they're going to be able to take in tomorrow night's race for the Premier Series, also here.
Yeah, one thing that I've also seen at Dover, though, is that you can pop tires here if you're not careful. This track is probably one of the most abrasive and demanding on the tires in iRacing, so it's not uncommon to have tire wear get so bad that you blow a right front tire. So we'll see what happens here later on in this race, but only 9 laps to go here, so we'll see what can happen.
And Austin DeLong did put in the chat that he was pitting in, so the 22 is coming to pit road at some point in the near future if he's not there already. But 9 laps to go, inside 10 to go for these drivers. Bradley Daniels has a pretty comfortable lead over the 99 right here, about a second, or excuse me, a half a second overneath him, or oh gosh, overneath. That's a word. Over him right now is there. You see the 09 of Tristan Yoder underneath those two. He's going to go another lap down. But it's crunch time for these drivers. Now they have 8 laps to go. Alif with a 5.6-second lead over Zach DeWale right now in P2, and it's 6.5 seconds from DeWale back to P3 right now. Bradley Daniels, P4, Edwin Onofre, who is the last car on the lead lap due to Alif having some serious pace tonight, as well as some pit stop strategy. Then we have Daniel Hunter, Tristan Yoder scored as a lap down. That is the rest of the top 6. So crunch time right here for these drivers as we're now going to keep an eye on this battle right here. Onofre continues to fall behind the 521, but he's not going down without a fight. This battle is still shaping up. I don't know how much battling we're going to see to the end of this race because we have 6 laps to go, but the 521 can't get complacent right now because that mean green 99 machine is still in his rearview mirror and very big.
One thing to note, Zach, is that Daniel Hunter is back in 5th position. So if he didn't trust his tires to get him to the end of this race or didn't have enough fuel, if he was going to lose out to Daniels and Onofre on just pace and tire wear, he's back. He would have been 5th if he didn't pit. So he's back up to where he would have been. He's 20 seconds or so behind Onofre on track now. He might be able to finish on the lead lap, but there's definitely not enough time left for Hunter to finish this race out on the lead lap, most likely. But we'll see. 5 laps to go as Onofre chases down Bradley Daniels here. That gap now at about 0.5 of a second last time by. Daniels was a touch quicker, about a couple hundredths of a second. Not much in it, but still, Muhammad Alif dominating the field right now. He's got a 5.5-second lead over Zachary DeWale, and then Bradley Daniels about 8 seconds back from DeWale himself.
We'll be seeing a lot of action here on track, and it looks like we're not going to see a lot here in these closing laps as most of the field has spread out right here. Bradley Daniels still holding about a half a second lead over Edwin Onofre, so if Onofre wants to make anything stick to try and challenge for that last podium position, he's got to do it now. 3 laps to go for these drivers. I misspoke. It was 5, then 4. Now it's 3. So the end of this race coming very quickly, and I'm going to recant my statement and say that it might be a little too late for Onofre to try and do anything here, as there you see the 018 of Andrew McCall getting around the 99. That is not for position since McCall has currently scored 2 laps down. So there the 99 gets into the wall. 2 to go here for these drivers.
Yeah, it looks like just Onofre's run out of gas in that car. Well, he didn't, not figurative or not literally,
not
but
literally.
he's just run out of grip in those tires. As Muhammad Alif now on the final lap from Ball State University. What a dominating performance from him tonight. He lost the lead for a little bit at the start of the second stint, but he regained it back quickly and has stretched his legs of the field and showed just how quick he can be around these concrete banks of Dover International Speedway. As he comes out of the final corner now, Muhammad Alif is going to win the Monster 120 at the Monster Mile in the CiL Prospect Series race tonight. Behind him, DeWale coming through turns 3 and 4. Now he'll finish second after a good recovery race from him after starting 10th. Bradley Daniels is going to be very happy with his performance tonight, moving up from 6th to 3rd by the end of the race. And right behind him, the guy he's been battling with all race, Edwin Onofre, will finish 4th. And Daniel Hunter just pulls it off to the side of the track. He's already crossed the line. He needs a lap down, but unfortunate strategy from him, just ran out of time in the end. But the leader of this race and the winner of this race from Ball State University is the 12 car of our Muhammad Alif as he heads to the front stretch now to burn it down.
Absolutely dominant performance tonight from Alif, and I think dominant doesn't even describe it. He led well over three-quarters of this race, and he lost the lead right there only for a quick second, uh, just because of that incident that he was involved with Victor Roldan there around lap 40. He didn't lose a lot out of it. He was able to get that car back around to pit road, but great skill to navigate these corners. It's a very tough track to master and even win at. So congratulations to Alif on another dominant performance here. Attaboy.
Yeah, fantastic job from him. Sometimes on nights like that, on tonight, some drivers are just untouchable. You've seen it in multiple racing series, of course, where you just get drivers who are in the zone, they're in the flow, and you can't stop them no matter what. So, congratulations to Elite for his race win tonight. Definitely a special performance from him as he absolutely dominated the field tonight. Not the most experienced oval racer, but he's learning the craft, and he's definitely learning it well. And he's showing up some guys and who've been here for a while, but our Muhammad Ali, a very worthy victor.
And he did say earlier this week that he had a newfound respect for oval racing. He didn't coming into this first CIL season. He was recruited by Ball State to run all of our series for that school. He didn't have a lot of the oval content, so he said, "You know what? I'm going to try it." And he came out and tried it, and he is sticking it to the field right now. So great things that we're seeing from him and from really the rest of our rookie drivers this season. They've come out guns a blazing.
Yeah, I think it's definitely a testament to the skill of Elite and his talent that he can just come in and, first couple of races had a bit of a learning curve for him. He wasn't uh, necessarily the quickest driver in the field, but you could see every race he's getting quicker and quicker. And I think tonight he really put on a show for us and just, a Dover masterclass, you might say. But I think now it's time to hear from some of our drivers tonight who finished on the podium. So joining us up in the booth tonight is going to be Bradley Daniels from Robert Morris University. Bradley, congratulations on the win tonight, or third place, excuse me. Third place tonight. You put on a very good performance and you had a very close race with Edwin for that the entire time. Go ahead, walk us through your mindset and just trying to focus on the road in front of you instead of the mirror behind you.
Well, it all started when we were in that three-car battle for third, really, with Daniel Hunter. And then after that, it was just consistency because Dover, when we were practicing it, was hard on tires and even harder to pass. So it was a lot of, rear view driving, but at the same time had to stay consistent.
Bradley, congratulations on your podium finish, third place here in the Monster Mile 120. What do you think is your biggest takeaway from tonight's race, looking at tomorrow night's 200 miler here at Dover? What's the biggest thing that you learned tonight?
It would probably be looking for those passing opportunities because, I mean, you guys probably saw there when the passing was happening, it was going all over the place. Everybody was everywhere trying to figure out, what's the best route to take the pass. And I would say that was my biggest takeaway because there was multiple times where I almost threw myself into the wall trying to pass somebody.
Well, congratulations again. Before we send you on your merry way, is there anybody you'd like to shout out?
Yeah, I'd like to shout out the RMU esports program along with my teammates Alex, Treston, and Nick, along with PNC, and my friends and family at home.
Well, awesome. Congratulations again, man, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow night in the Premier Series race.
Sure, thank you.
That was Bradley Daniels, our third place finisher tonight here at the Monster Mile 120. Great to see that he had a great drive out there. He learned a lot. Looking forward to seeing him in tomorrow night's show. So moving on, how about let's talk to our runner-up finisher tonight. P2 goes to Zach DeWale from St. Clair College. Congratulations on another great drive. It seems like we're talking to you here in the booth almost every week, man. Take us through that race. What was going on inside your mind?
I need tires. I need tires the whole way. Tire wear was just horrendous. I was just really struggling to keep it under me and trying to make up spots after messing up in qualifying didn't help. But Yeah, I mean, I feel like I ran a pretty rough race. I was really hard on the tires. Just happy I kept it off the wall.
Well, Zach, you definitely ran a really good race tonight, making your way through the field, starting 10th, finishing second. But that second stint, really, once you got past your teammate and Daniel Hunter, it was a bit of a lonely race. Not a whole lot of leaf too far in front of you, and I think the rest of the field was too far behind. But mentally, how challenging is that to kind of go through the race and not really have anyone around you to kind of keep you on your toes?
It's harder than it looks like because I feel like for people watching, it just looks like a car driving in circles. Um, but your mind starts to wander, and you got to be so concentrated, working on like uh, making sure you're lifting off at the right spot, being good on the throttle through the corner. Like you just have to be so concentrated. So when you get those long runs where it's just you, it can be really tough to stay focused.
Yeah, Zach, we've seen you at the front a lot of these races in both Prospect and Premier Series in the CIL. But before we send you on your way this evening, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out on the broadcast tonight?
Yeah, for like the usual Emily, Jordan, Riley, if any of them actually made it on to watch. Athena for spotting for me again today, and yeah, everyone on the team for helping me out. I wish we could have got another W, but I guess it's not too bad of a season when your race finish is three separate second place finishes. So
Well, Zach, congratulations once again. Congratulations on the runner-up finish tonight. You definitely fought for that one. So we hope to see you up here in the booth again sometime soon and take it easy tonight.
sure, you too, man.
And once again, that was Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College. He's been up at the front of the field a lot of these recent races in the CIL Oval Series, but always fun to talk with him. And he definitely put on a show tonight, moving from 10th to second, our biggest mover. But we all want to talk to the man of the hour, the man who dominated this race from start to finish. It's our Muhammad Alif from Ball State University. Alif, congratulations on the win tonight. You made it look easy, but you had a bit of a tussle with Daniel Hunter in the middle part of that race. Go ahead, walk us through your mindset after losing the lead and how you kind of plan to get that back.
In my head, I think I felt like Daniel was pushing a bit too hard, so that I kind of felt like the his tires might fall off in the end, which eventually it did. So I think that was the main thing. Once I got overtaken, it was just keeping calm, keeping the tires in check, so that I can slingshot past again.
Alif, congratulations on another win. It seems like we're talking to you. I told Zach this as well, but it seems like we're talking to you almost every interview we do here in the CIL, here in the booth. But you put on an absolute masterclass out there tonight. You led 108 laps out of 120. And when a lot of drivers were losing pace to tires and pit strategy, you were actually uh, increasing the gap between you and second place. So, what was your secret to, per se, to finding such success tonight? And do you think that's going to translate to tomorrow night's Premier Series race?
Um, Secret, I'm not sure. I've been driving. I mean, I've been learning round from round, round to round. Uh, learning from my win from last round in the Cup Series and oh, sorry, Premier Series, and then with this Dover track being very technical and temperatures being that high, I mean, tire conservation was absolute key. With the front right wearing the most. So, just keeping it cool, keeping it within myself, while driving it. And I mean, my shoulder started to hurt. My right shoulder started to hurt like halfway through the race, and my neck was getting very stiff. So I only relaxed right after the checkered flag, and I was like, all the cracks were coming out. Yeah, it was a demanding race, I'd say. It might have looked easy, but it wasn't at all. Just keeping the tires in check, keeping. I had a lot of lap traffic, not a lot, but some lap traffic, and just being mindful of that, and then people coming out of the pit lane, on fresh tires, they were like 3 seconds a lap faster. So, just giving them the space, and then just trying to bring the car home.
Well, Alif, I got one more question for you before you head out. I think we saw that first caution came out because of an incident you had with a lapped car trying to lap him and just ran out of room near the wall. But We saw you come in, take your fast repair. Were you worried about the rest of the race? Were you playing it conservative, knowing that you couldn't fall back on that fast repair in case anything happened?
It wasn't on my mind, to be honest, because I think if, I mean, as a driver or as an athlete, if you let these kind of what ifs let it creep into your mind, you've already lost the race or you've lost half the race. So, you just got to soldier on and move past it, and then just trust that no one else really brings out a caution, and then just take care of your own race.
Well, Alif, that's definitely great to hear. And that shoulder pain, I think that's something that most of us experienced oval racers can relate to, especially around these tracks like Dover with these very, very sharp corners. But before we send you on your way tonight, is there anybody you want to thank or shout out on the broadcast this evening who makes this possible for you?
Oh yeah, definitely. My team, teammates Brett, Dan Marino, the whole esports varsity team here in Ball State, they've been doing an amazing job with the program. And yeah, we're like I think 2 years old now, and we're just constantly growing and constantly searching for new heights. So I think I cannot have done it without them, as well as my family back in Singapore and all my friends watching. So yeah, thanks.
Well, Alif, congratulations once again on your victory tonight. Well earned, and I hope you take it easy. We hope to see you in the booth again sometime soon.
Thank you very much, guys. Have a good night.
And once again, that was our Muhammad Alif from Ball State University. He's our race winner tonight in the CiL Prospect Series. Monster 120 from Dover International Speedway. Zach, I think he definitely had some words to live by. You don't want to let the doubt creep into your mind, or else you've lost half the race. So definitely that mindset from Alif really helps him kind of put the car where he needs it to be and put him towards the front of the field.
Yeah, I was going to mention that same thing. Some great words of wisdom right there from our winner. So for all of you who are watching here at home, that's probably the best advice you could possibly give or get as a sim racer or just a racer in general. Is if you make a mistake, if you're caught up in something, don't let it creep into your mind. Don't let it guide how the rest of your race is going to go. Hit that reset button, get a nice mental refresh, and get back out on track, and you'll do exactly what he did and just utterly dominate a race. But great to see just how far he's come along this season from not really doing so well at the start of the season, and I believe some of his first oval races with the CiL, and now he's won 2 College Cup Series races in a row. He stole the win last week on some restart chaos at Phoenix, and then now he's come away with a win here at Dover tonight in dominant fashion. So great to see him finding success as he's definitely going to throw a wrench in our championship battle going into the last week.
Yeah, that's for sure. Speaking of next week, if you want to see some more CiL Prospect Series action, 2 weeks from now, same time, same place. It's going to be the Championship 160 at Michigan for the Prospect Series race. But if you're looking for some Premier Series action, tomorrow night, the CiL Premier Series will take on the same track at Dover Motor Speedway, Dover International Speedway, I should say. Got to get the name right there. But for the Monster Mile 170, the CiL Premier Series driver is definitely going to be putting on a great show like we saw tonight with but definitely a bit longer race. Strategy plays into it a bit more, but it should be a good race tomorrow. But if you're looking for some road action, make sure to tune in 1 week from now for the Austrian Grand Prix for the Formula C Championship race at the Red Bull Ring. It's going to be a tight battle between those drivers in the Formula 4 cars on iRacing. So be sure to tune in then. And if you want some GT3 action, tune in next Tuesday, November 29th. The Toro Rosso Double Sprint Challenge from the Red Bull Ring for the GT3 cars will take place for your championship event for the GT3 Challenge. So exciting races all throughout the CiL, Mondays and Tuesdays. But we're going to talk you through the final grid one last time here from Dover. Your race winner for tonight, it's going to be our Muhammad Alif. He put on a fantastic show for everybody in the field tonight and really put on a dominant display as the results show up. Bit of having some technical difficulties from the production crew trying to get the results to show.
I think it's all the producer's fault, if you ask me.
Yeah, you're probably right. Those producers never know what they're doing.
That's it. We're firing the producer.
That must be the case. But you're a winner tonight. You can't see it on the screen, but we'll say it for you. Art Muhammad Ali from Ball State University takes the win tonight, putting on a dominant performance. He did a fantastic job of leading this pack from pretty much start to finish. Behind him, Zachary DeWale did a great job making up some damage control as he made his way through the field after starting in 10th position. As your feature results appear and disappear and appear again on your screen, Zachary DeWale from St. Clair College finishes second after starting in 10th. Bradley Daniels from Robert Morris University rounds out a good run to third after starting sixth. Edwin Onofre also ran a good race tonight, starting fourth, ending fourth. Minimal incidents for him as Daniel Hunter from St. Clair College ran the alternate two-stop strategy. Couldn't get it to work in the end, but he recovered to fifth place after taking an extra pit stop than the rest of the field. Brett Crane from Ball State rounds out your sixth position, and Joshua Teagues in seventh. Andrew McCall from Purdue University, your eighth position finisher. Excuse me. And Treston Yoder from Robert Morris finishes ninth. Austin DeLong from Pennsylvania College of Technology will finish 10th. And then Victor Roldan, we saw him in an incident with our leader, Muhammad Ali. He'll finish 11th, 35 laps down. But from everyone here at the CIL, myself, Matthew Norberg, Zach Lindler, as well as the rest of the crew who makes this possible, as well as the racers, we want to thank you for tuning in to the CIL tonight. We hope to see you again sometime soon.